Okay, without further ado, let's discuss the documented essay. Next slide, please. A documented essay, also known as research paper, is a piece of writing in which you incorporate information, facts, arguments, opinion taken from the writings of authority in a particular field. Its essential aspect is the credibility and its contribution to scholarly studies. Okay, in other words, we cannot just simply write a documented essay solely based on our opinions, because a documented essay is based on the different composition written by different writers relating to other materials. What is the similarities and difference of documented essay to standard essay? The documented essay and standard essay are both consist of introduction, um, introduction with explicit arguments or thesis. They have three or more supporting paragraphs and conclusion. Their difference is, in a standard essay, it is generally known facts and personal experience of the writers, while in documented essay, it requires a concrete supporting information from relevant resources. Next slide, please. Also, a documented essay is a synthesis of information. It is where we gather different data from different It is where we gather different data from different sources to establish a new perspective and to create a new understanding about the materials. Next slide, please. The features of documented essay. Documented essay is not a mere report but should be interpreted by the writers based on the data gathered. Then, documented essay uses reliable resources and conduct a thorough analysis of available views on a subject. It should not just a mere synthesis of um, it should not just a mere opinion of somebody else, but it is the writers who who is considered definitely expert and well experienced in that particular field. In that way, the writer of documented essay can conduct a thorough analysis, views on the topic that he is trying to write about. And the next is required a lot of knowledge on the subject. Okay. The the author should have a um, knowledge about the topic that he is trying to write about. Next, avoid feeling and emotion. Um, Okay. Avoid feeling and emotion. If you're about to write a pros and cons or academic paper, you should not put an emotion because a documented essay is based on evidence and supported by relevant resources. For the continuation of the report about documented essay, Ms. Kim will take the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Miss Jana. Allow me to introduce myself first. I am Kimberly J. Dimarucut from Group 3, and now I will be discussing the latter part of the regarding the topic of documented essay. So, how do you write a documented essay? First and foremost, of course, you must choose a topic. Choosing a topic is one of the most important parts of writing a great paper. Moreover, an appropriate topic selection is necessary to have an effective essay. Your topic should be catchy, informative, and relatable to the reader. However, the golden rule is that your choice of topic should depend on your interests, preferences, and knowledge. If you have knowledge on a certain topic, the essay creation process will be much easier and will turn into a pleasurable activity. In addition, your reader can tell if you are interested in your own topic. Thus, your enthusiasm will convey in your writing. So, next slide, please. So, here are some examples of documented essay topics, such as the negative impacts of mass media on country's economy, effects of violence in achieving the socio-economic status, and so on and so forth. Next slide, please. Secondly, you must find or locate sources. Sources that you use when writing are crucial for the success of your essay. Here, you will work with both primary and secondary sources. So, can someone please read the definition of primary and secondary sources? Yes, Miss Jana.
Primary sources are the original materials which provide raw information and first-hand evidence. Secondary sources provide second-hand explanation and complementary from other researchers on the original material.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your participation. So primary sources are the first-hand evidence such as literature, historical documents, transcripts, statistical data, and so on. On the other hand, secondary sources provide second-hand explanations and commentary from other researchers on the original material. Journal articles, reviews, and academic books are some examples of this. So next slide, please. Here, you must investigate that issue as thoroughly as possible. You must consider several sources and facts to make your paper effective and impressive. Demonstrate to the readers your expertise and professionalism. Second, use only scholarly literature and academic articles. All of the supporting information should be accurate and directly related to your topic, so you must select sources carefully. Third is avoid using information from random websites. Exclude Wikipedia, social networks such as Facebook, and personal blogs since these sources are not credible and reliable. Same thing with the out-of-date materials published over 10 years ago, research articles without citations, and websites ending in .com, .org, and .net. On the other hand, academic research articles that are published within last 10 years written by well-known authors are considered as credible sources. Websites registered by government and educational institutions such as .gov, .edu, and .ac are some examples of credible sources. Next slide, please. So next is outlining and writing. There are things that you should consider in writing a documented essay. Needless to say, an essay should be incorporated with an introduction, body, and conclusion. Introduction is where the subject and purpose are being identified, which also serves as a hook to the readers. The main point and supporting details are delivered in the body. And lastly, conclusion is where the thesis is restated with a concise summary of the body of an essay. And you must also determine the order of your arguments and select the appropriate evidence for each point when constructing an outline. One must, one must ensure that the paper is cohesive and logically constructed. Furthermore, the last sentence or final phrase of the introduction should be the thesis statement. Because it is an important component of an documented essay, it should be well developed and concise. And last, after completing the rough draft of the paper, start polishing it and reorganize material as necessary. Take note, your documented essay should cover the research issue and state your position. Develop your ideas and support them by valid evidence from outside resources properly. Every point must be related to your thesis statement. So moving on to the next step or guide. Next slide, please. In every essay, especially in documented essay, plagiarism should be avoided. We all know that plagiarism is a form of academic dishonesty. It is the act of using another person's words or ideas without giving proper credit to the author. In academic writing, plagiarism consists of using words from your sources without using quotation marks. Although plagiarism might be intentional or unintentional, either way, it is still a serious violation in any case. That is why it is crucial to track down and read the original source to make sure that the data is accurate. When you correctly acknowledge your sources, you don't only add credibility to your work, you also help yourself in preventing plagiarism. So how do we use proper citation? This leads this lead us to the next guide in writing documented essay. Next slide, please. Document sources. This is the gist or the main point of writing documented essays. APA or American Psychological Association and MPA or Modern Language Association formats are the most common citation style. It both consists of a brief parenthetical citation and a full reference at the end of the paper. They do have few similarities. However, citations look slightly different in each style, with different rules for things like capitalization, author names, and placement of the date. So next slide, please. So yes, remember the difference of an APA and MLA. In terms of in-text citations, an APA includes the author's last name and publication year. If you're quoting or paraphrasing a specific passage, you also add page number. Same thing with MLA, only publication year is not included. In terms of title of reference list, APA is usually called the reference list and works cited in MLA. The full name of the author is written in MLA. Meanwhile, in APA, initial and last name are only included. In terms of capitalization of source titles, in MLA, initial words are being capitalized, while in APA, only the first word is capitalized. And lastly, title page is required in APA, meanwhile in MLA does not require. Also remember that locating scholarly sources and then citing these references accurately should be the foundation of your own academic and professional writing. So I hope everyone is following. Let's now proceed to the next slide. So last is the purpose of writing documented essays. Writing a documented essay or research paper promotes critical thinking whereby we reflect on an issue and reach a conclusion. It pushes us to assess different arguments to come up with stronger positions. It is important to note that the goal of writing this kind of essay is to gather various points of view, evidence, facts about a topic through the use of books, articles, and interviews. Then interpreting the material in your own writing along with establishing relationships with the audiences. Keep in mind that a documented essay combines your thoughts with ideas and facts from other sources. Documentation demonstrates to the reader which ideas are your own and which facts and concepts you've collected from another source to support your point of view. By writing a documented essay, you will gain more experience in working with authentic documents, their interpretation, and argumentation in favor of particular thesis. And that's all for documented essays. So, Ms. Gallientes, you may now take the floor.